Hi guys, bit of a different how to stay married so far this week. If you're listening on podcast, Mark is not next to me. And that's because, oh my God, this might end up being one of my most favourite situations I've ever seen Mark in, because we had a guest this week, and many of you may know her from Instagram, the fabulous pharmacist. She also came on Loose Women and she was bloody brilliant on there. And she's on a mission to get us all to love our vulvas, men and women. Whilst I'm talking about vulvas here, just have a little think. Which bit of down there is your vulva? How many holes have you got? These are questions that many of us don't immediately know the answer to, right? But me and the fabulous pharmacist, Laura is her name, had quite a bit of fun with Mark today, because we questioned him on things like that, the vulva, semen, is it a good face mask? Smelly bits down there, kiwis. How do kiwis and vulvas connect? And he was, let's say he was, I think he dealt with it very well. But he was quite cross-eyed by the end of it. And I loved it. And I love Laura. And she certainly is a fabulous woman and a fabulous pharmacist. And we are also bringing back the Bush sisters, as we did discuss, I think. Yes, did we? Yeah, we did. So here you go. How to stay married so far with a rather uncomfortable Mark.
Lovely to meet you.
Can't wait. Yeah, you too, Mark. I see you on Nadia's channel. You drop in, you're talked about, and now I finally met the man behind the woman.
You know everything about my vulva. No, that's not right. My Volvo.
So are we already recorded?
Yes, we're
I thought
recording.
That was quite a nice introduction.
Okay, there we go.
So we have just been chatting about you, actually, Laura. I don't like to call you Laura. You will always be the fabulous pharmacist to me. So we've just had a good old chinwag about, haven't we, over there?
Yeah.
So your book, Love Your Vulva. We are Bush sisters. We believe in bringing back the bush.
Yes.
We are sisters from another mister.
Right.
And I love everything that you do, Laura. Very first of all, what was your mission? Why, I know, but he doesn't know. Why did you want to write this book?
To demystify the female vulva and intimate health in general, because women don't like to talk about it. And when things go wrong, they're embarrassed to talk about it. So to destigmatize it and make it something that isn't something that women are ashamed of, because ultimately it boils down to shame, doesn't it?
It does. And actually, Mark was saying this morning that there's actually some real history in this, isn't there? The shame of the vulva.
Oh, the shame of the vulva. Yeah, well, I don't want to get all psychoanalytic about it. But when I was at college and we studied film, one of the kind of subjects we did was the horror film. And we went deep into psychoanalysis. And in that study, so much of what makes horror films work is fear of the female body. It's usually fear around the domestic space, say a home. It's fear around pregnancy. It's fear around body horror. And if you think of even things like Alien, the alien is called the mother, and it's the mothership. So horror, the woman's body as a location of horror is something that's very well talked about in film, sort of academic circles and all that kind of stuff.
Is that interesting? And actually,
oh my goodness, it's crazy. And even in the medical world as well. So the term hysteria comes from the Greek word for uterus, which was hystra. So and up until the early 1900s, it was female hysteria was a medical term, and people thought that there was various ways to get rid of it, sex being one of them. They thought semen could, cure everything that was, problematic with the human, with the female body. So yeah, crazy stuff, crazy stories, and kind of that bias exists to this day. Yeah. So, and I would have seen it in the pharmacy over the years. Yeah, it really is.
And I was saying to Mark earlier that you really, being a pharmacist and women coming into you over and over again with problems and asking for all sorts of ointments and creams because they actually had dry vaginas, but they didn't want to say dry vagina. Yeah. They didn't want to say it.
They wouldn't say it. Ask for the product, and you wouldn't know where they were putting it maybe. And then whenever you did mention it, they nearly, look at you like you had two heads. They didn't want to discuss it. They'd say down there, down below. And then when you think about it, like, life comes from the female vagina and vulva. And it just seems crazy that it's not something that was ever cared about enough to discuss openly. And then, so people like my granny, she had 10 kids, 10 of them. Can you imagine?
Wow.
Just would never have talked about it, would never have talked about her intimate health. And I can only imagine the state of her pelvic floor. And it's crazy what women have put up with over the years and the minimization of the important problems that they had,
One of the things you just said, which I'm kind of surprised by, I mean, my mum's a single parent family. My mum's gay. I was surrounded by a lot of women. There was a lot of talk growing up about the female body. I mean, right down to when I was about 7, I used to have a sign on my door that said menstrual free zone. We'd see sanitary towels would be put in water to feed the cheese plants. Friends would come around and go, "What's that on the wall?" And it would be feminist poetry written in blood, not real blood, but I mean, the suggestion of menstruation.
It's amazing that didn't put you off.
No, well, no, yeah, no, it's quite amazing, isn't it? I mean, I think for very few therapists have said you've worked through that quite well. But the thing that I was surprised by what you just said then was the destigmatizing of it for women. Because I suppose I've come from a world where there's been no shame talking about anything. All 4 of my daughters are very comfortable with me, about sanitary protection, periods, all that. But I think that's an important part of this. I think we are embedded in a very open world, aren't we?
Yeah,
like everyone
so
talks
many
about this,
people
but the vast majority of people aren't, you're saying.
Yeah, they aren't. And like that, so I have 3 sons, and sure, they saw period blood, they knew what tampons were, they are sick to death of hearing the word vulva and vagina, but they know exactly everything that there is to know about the female body. But there's so many people that don't. And you obviously had a very open upbringing, and maybe the fact that you were brought up in a gay household as well. They were very pro-feminists, and then also maybe just more willing to talk about the body in that way. But certainly women that grew up and, even my mother's generation, I'd say from 40 up, we're still dealing with this. Maybe our younger generations are a little bit more, like I know on TikTok and stuff, they're all talking about period blood and things like that, but we're still very backward when it comes to, even Nadia, you opened up there talking about we're Bush sisters. Like, I spoke to 4,000 teenage girls a number of months ago in one big arena, 15, 16-year-olds. They get them down from all the schools for one day, a big celebration of girls and females. And it's kind of a very anti-bullying thing, but they got me in to speak about the body. And I said to them, girls, could you put your hands up if you think that you need to remove, that your pubic hair is unattractive? And 99% of them did. Wow. I said, do you think, hands up who thinks they should remove it? Same figure. And then I said, and what about boys? Do you think that they need to remove the pubic hair? And none of the girls put their hands up. And it was afterwards they came up to me and went, actually, we've never thought about that. That's actually really annoying, the fact that we have to do it, but boys don't. But so I think when you're planting the seed.
Your book is vital. And in fact, our daughters were just in here, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
And they were saying it's a really good book. And so they've grown up in a really open household, right? But even the some of the stuff that they were saying to me, I didn't know. And there was a lot in there that they didn't know. And it's been great for me because now I've got it in a book from a pharmacist that taking your hair out is not good. Hair is there to protect this incredible piece of kit.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd go a bit through the book.
Can I just admit, though, for saying all of that and for kind of bigging up my feminist lesbian upbringing, I like to think I know a lot, but I've just flicked through your book. I know fuck all.
He said to me this morning, I think I know more about women's anatomy than a lot of women do.
No, I didn't say that. I said then a lot of men do. A lot of other men do. I mean, we had the what's the guide to sex called? What's that famous?
Joy of Sex.
Well, I had the Joy of Sex for Lesbian. I mean, that's what I was going off and looking at. It was bizarre.
I'm fascinated.
Yeah, it just didn't make any sense to me.
We thought it'd be quite good because I know the book intimately.
Yes.
And you're new to the book.
Yes.
So we thought it'd be quite good if you just pulled out some of your contents list that puzzles him the most, and we could get a few lines on what that message is from that particular chapter. And I really would like to say, even though Laura has become a good friend of mine, we're spending the weekend this weekend in Dublin, I genuinely think everybody should have this book with daughters or sons, and I think it should be in school because it's laid out so beautifully with the most gorgeous artwork. I love the artwork. I love all of it. I love all the chapters.
Oh, thank you.
And for my
It's a real celebration of women's bodies, isn't it? With all the pictures and that.
Do you know what that is?
It's a vulva.
Good man. Vulva.
I'd be disappointed, Mark, if you didn't know what that was now after the fact that we've just spoken about that.
Yeah,
Women don't know what their vulva is. They don't know which bit.
That's the point. There is a diagram that kind of, which I have to confess, I think one of my girls found me rather oddly falling into this diagram, which is on the side of the vulva with all the kind of pointing arrows that take you to all the bits.
Because I suddenly opened the book and I thought, you did scream.
No,
be honest.
Well, yeah, and I'm not going to show it now because I know YouTube will have a complete freak out.
Isn't that ridiculous?
But isn't it ridiculous? I mean, it's incredibly, it's in your face.
Detailed.
You're not always against that, Mark.
No, not at all. No, that's true.
Well, you like them in your face.
Yeah, no, absolutely. In the face is great. But it's nice to actually have the permission to look at a page without it being right in your face. And sort of, okay. That's that.
Do you know what, Mark? I tell you, when I went to Laura's book launch and we got women and we were talking about how women have 3 holes, right? And then we got them at the end, people to put up there, and these were like smart women. How many? Go on, be honest. Was there anyone here that didn't know he had 3 holes? And quite a few women did put their hands up.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it gets confusing because one just assumes the urethra and the vagina are kind of meet.
Same.
They're they meet at a similar junction.
Well, I think it's because men will pee and ejaculate out of the same hole, so they just assume that women do the same thing. Like we went around the streets once with a street mic going up to men, going, when a woman has her period, how does she pee? And if she has a tampon in, and they're like, oh, actually, yeah, with great difficulty. Oh, maybe she takes it out to pee, and yeah.
It stalls women. I ask women.
Does it stall
That's
women?
what I mean.
Oh, I don't feel so bad.
You don't want your daughters and your sons growing up thinking
I'm going to say
where you put your tampon.
I'm going to say something brutally honest, and I think we have. I can't remember when we talked about this on the podcast before, but for a man, faced with a vagina or a vulva or the crutch like this, which as a heterosexual man I have been. You rarely get the opportunity to. I mean, you'd probably be hit in the face if you did. Just sat there and just looked for ages.
Yeah, you're not allowed.
It's a fascinating thing, and it's actually but it's really useful.
It's
really useful. It's like a map.
We've not got him on a chat. We're sitting asking to have a look at mine like that.
Well, I might because I'm just relating yours to it.
Right. Get back to the content.
No, but anyway,
I want you to pick
I think it's really useful, and again, it just reminds me of how little we do know. Because I mean, I feel I know a lot, but I don't know anything.
Like these words.
What the hell are Bartholin's glands?
Yes.
Who's Bartholin?
There you go now.
Who's Bartholin?
Bartholin.
Well, I think that a lot of these, like Bartholin and that, those would be named after doctors that would have discovered these glands, or and usually male, but that doesn't matter. We've moved on from all of that. We don't mind, but the Skene's glands are. Skene's glands is where women would maybe ejaculate out from as well. When they talk about squirting and female ejaculation. So there's lots to the vulva that, people don't know about. And even the clitoris, the beautiful picture of the clitoris, people don't realize that it's the only organ in the human body designed for pleasure. Alone. And women only need that to be gently rubbed. Usually they don't need full-on penetration. So you have men pumping away thinking they're doing a great job, and all they need to do is give the clitoris a little rub,
Yeah, a little whistle.
No, I mean it's some it's the kind of guidance men
get.
That,
Mark?
I've been told that maybe once or twice in my life. I liked the stuff here about smell and scent.
Yes, our girls were pretty horrified because within the book guys watching and listening, there are these great little confession boxes where people from your travels, they've been able to ask the question that they might be very embarrassed or state something. And the thing that our girls were really shocked about was I love the smell of my own knickers at the end of a long day.
Well, like, it's like the smell. Well, some people like the smell of their own farts. So, and I think that the smell of your knickers is probably a bit nicer than the smell of your own farts. It's your own natural scent. And I know they're bringing out, there's always been these Femme Fresh products and all these, but there's never been a Willy Fresh product, has there? Whereas we're always encouraging women to smell like roses or pineapples or something down there, when in actual fact, you're going to disrupt the microbiome, the natural microbiome.
And more like infection and an itch, and then a very different smell.
I like the smell. I like the natural smell of a vagina.
So do I. And I mean, I don't ever use soap or anything on my vagina, because I just think that it does its work.
When you say vagina and vulva, what should one say? What should we use what are we talking about?
Depends what you're talking about. So the vulva is on the outside and the vagina is on the inside. Okay. So the vulva is the outer genitalia and the vagina is the inner genitalia.
So the scent is from both, essentially. It's from vulva, vagina.
Yeah. Well, like the discharge scent will come from inside the vagina, but then obviously the vulva has its own scent as well, because it's the skin on the outside. Yes. But in general, what you're smelling is probably the vagina.
And the thing is, it's a musk, right? So a clean vagina has a musk to it, and I think that is a beautiful smell.
Yeah,
I have no problem with it. So come on, let's pick out what else were you were questioning here.
Well, I thought the reason I thought that was really significant as well is because I think although I kind of grew up in the environment I did grow up in, I've also been around lots of men and misogynistic men, and I know that one of the first things that's often used by men as a line of abuse and assault is the suggestion that a woman smells, in that department. And
our daughter was in a pub the other day,
and it was said to
guy
her.
said to the whole group of them, "You all stink, all you women. I can smell you." Yeah. I was so horrified.
And I've always
such a violent, aggressive thing to say to a group of young women. It was really disgusting. And it is, you've said that before, haven't you?
Yeah, it's really odd.
Say that they will.
But even men, working in the media, even men who you would, again, this is the joy of the upbringing I had, but also being father to 4 daughters. You'd hear men say stuff like, just matter of factly about, "Oh yeah, no, me and such, we hooked up, whatever." Maybe it's becoming something. Weird thing is though, she's a bit smelly, and I'd be like, a bit smelly. What do you mean?
They need to have a good whiff of their own penis.
Exactly. I mean,
well, yeah. And you see, that's the thing. You never hear about a smelly penis, but women would be ridiculed, or there would be colloquial slagging of women about the smell. They smell fishy, or So just it isn't very nice. But as you said, it's a bit it's all to do with misogyny, really, isn't it?
And I think so much misogyny comes from this fear of this incredible piece of kit that we have. That's why the worst swear word is about this incredible piece of kit. Yeah. What it does, it self-cleans, it regenerates, it's just, and it delivers life. So it's a very scary prospect for men. So know your bits. Know your bits. You have I just love all these chapters. Anatomy of shame, know your bits, keep it clean, learn the signs. Sexy, smart, and savvy. Let it flow.
This is important for men to read. I think this should be like enforced on all men to read this, because it's really useful. Because I think there's huge. I know men get a kind of.
Girls' boyfriends were looking at it because they just left it out. So that's how you do it.
Because I think
what did they say when they were looking at it? Were they a bit shocked, or were they happy to kind of flick through it?
It was so funny because when I first had the and one of our daughters and her boyfriend that was fairly new at the time, he said, "There's an awful lot about vulvas here, isn't there?" Because with the books and with the mugs. And I mean, just honestly, like as I said, they are really switched on kids with open families, and there's lots of stuff in here they didn't know. So it is, and they love it. So they love it's very user friendly, and this voice that you hear now, the voices in here, the great illustrations, showing all those. Can I show that?
Yeah.
They weren't like that. Showing that we all have different vulvas because they're all carrying a lot of shame. When I was growing up, the only thing you had to worry about was how big your bum was or what your boobs were like. But now they are worrying about their labia majora. Is it too long? Is it too brown? You're supposed to be bubble pink. All this stuff that they would be embarrassed probably to talk to me about. It's all just rubbish. Girls now, really young girls, are having their labia trimmed.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy, isn't it? And it's to do with porn, definitely, and the depiction of what women should look like in porn, and girls and boys both. So, and I was even speaking to a woman.
I mean, for God's sake.
Bleached anuses, I know. And like, I was speaking to a woman there, and she said her 20-year-old son had, he'd slept with a girl the night before or something. And he came home to his mum and he goes, "Mum, she was hairy down there." Like, oh
my God.
Because boys are growing up in this porn environment where women are symmetrical. They've had all kind of stuff done to them. They've pneumatic boobs. They've hairless fannies. And it's just crazy. It really is.
I do something on the channel here called Nadia Unfiltered, and I was just in the bath and I just turned my phone on and was just chatting about this. And I said, girls avoid the man that talks like that about your hair. So because the man that fears the bush fears the woman.
It's a great
and the man
slogan.
That fears the woman will never be there for you 100%. Anyway. So I just did this, didn't think about it. Oh my God, I got so much respect. It was the thing I think
really
commented on the most, because all their friends were saying, "Oh my God, your mum's iconic." I loved it.
Yeah.
Because usually they're like, "Oh, shut up about the bush mum."
Yeah.
But actually, I think young women are looking. They're starting to understand that they've been fed. Oh, well, it's clean. Who told you that?
Yeah.
Look to where that's come from. It's all come from pornography. So you're being manipulated. You're not being a modern young woman who doesn't take any shit. You're taking shit because it's rubbish.
Yeah. And you're paying lots of money to have it removed, and then you're paying money to have your dermatitis fixed as a result of the pubic hair removal. So there's this kind of vicious cycle. But yeah, it's where does empowerment begin and misogyny end? It's just, it is crazy. It really is. And look, if people want to trim themselves, that's fine. And if people want to get it all off, that's fine. But it's just know that it's there for a reason.
But also, I think boys and men are also victims of a lack of education, a lack of knowledge, only seeing the female body through porn. I mean, I often say, thank Christ there wasn't the prevalence of porn around when I was younger, because it would have been an absolute mess. I mean, most kids, it would have been obsessive and constant. And one porn mag came in once, and that page from the mag went around the school for about a week. And it just kept popping up.
You have no grey area on this, you say, because Mark is an addict. He's 21 years sober from alcohol. And, it's just your chosen drug, isn't it? You cross addict. You have always said, you would have.
Well, I certainly know that I've had addiction issues around relationships and sex, so there is that kind of that compulsive.
These boys are the victims of it too. And that's why, as parents, it's so important that we normalize our bodies. So that they're not sucked into it. And again, that's why I like this book, because it's done in such somebody at the door, because it's done in such a user-friendly way for young people. There's no preaching. And because people are getting so many confused signals through TikTok and so much bad information, that sometimes is good because it opens conversation, but I think also can be really dangerous.
Oh yeah, I know. Sure, there's lots of kind of stuff going around TikTok with young girls, and lots of young girls are they're choosing the withdrawal method as a form of contraception, because people are suggesting that the pill interferes with all kinds of things and fertility and all that, which is absolutely unfounded. Now, obviously the pill can cause some side effects, such as low libido, maybe some weight gain and things like that. But often you can find a contraception that will suit you. Now, some people just it doesn't suit. But I think that narrative of, I'm not going to use contraception because it's going to do X, Y, and Z to me, when it's unfounded. That's why this whole social media, while it's great in one way, can spread so much misinformation so quickly, that our young people need somewhere to go to understand what's right and what's wrong. Isn't that right?
Yeah. A friend of mine the other day, her girls are very, educated and went to private school, and she's very smart. And her daughter announced, "Oh no, I don't use anything. We'd use the withdrawal method." She was just horrified. She's just like, How can that happen? Oh, no, and then XYZ, all this stuff.
I'll tell you what I love about the book specifically is you manage to capture that, there's a kind of giggliness around everyone when they step towards sex. Do you know what I think? That's the problem with
a bit of giggling.
Yeah, and I think giggling into the book is nice. I mean, I went into it giggling. Everyone who comes in and sees it giggles but then when you're drawn in, you've hooked them in. I think it's really clever way of doing it, because actually I think there is a lot of shame, there's a lot of embarrassment, there's a lot of holding at arm's length, and I think it's really just in it, even in its design. I just find
I love the design.
Like leeks, knobs, and what the hell's kiwis? What are kiwis?
So kiwis are they're a high fiber fruit, and if you eat a kiwi with the skin, if you eat 2 of them, you get 10 grams of fiber a day, which is a really good way of avoiding constipation, which constipation leads to piles. It can aggravate prolapse. It can interfere with all kinds of things, particularly as, post-pregnancy and then also post-menopause. Women will maybe experience some prolapses, which is where your pelvic organs fall into the vagina. It can feel very uncomfortable. Yeah. So many women would have that, but a good way of not making that aggravated or being a bit more comfortable is making sure you're not constipated. So that's why I have a pelvic floor physio, Nadia. You'll meet her on Saturday at the show, and she is obsessed with fucking kiwis. You'd think she has shares in a kiwi factory, but she doesn't. But actually, my sister, who had a baby and had there you go. They're like a pair of hairy testicles, aren't they?
With the skin.
Well, that's where you'll get your fiber from. But even my sister had awful constipation after having her baby, and she started eating the 2 kiwis a day, and now she says she goes.
Oh no, they are superfood.
They're superfood.
Yeah. If you eat pineapple and somebody goes down on you, you'll have a pineapple flavored vagina.
You will in your hole. Excuse me.
Really?
I think that must be an Irish thing.
It's an Irish expression. You will in your hole. You won't have a pineapple. That's like saying if I drink a glass of wine, I'll have a wine flavored vulva. No,
but
doesn't happen.
Eat pineapple like crazy, thinking they'll get a better smelling vagina and a better taste.
For God's sake.
But people do it. People do it, and they do believe it.
But then it's the same thing with hate to take us there, but it's the same thing with semen, isn't it? It's like if you eat something, it will taste a different way. I mean,
I just drank a gulp of cappuccino, and she said semen. And it's a real frothy cappuccino, and now I don't know. I think I could possibly be put off cappuccino.
It was like when you was younger, and people always used to say to you that semen was a great face mask, and I absolutely used to believe that.
You did not, Nadia.
I did when I was younger.
And did you use it? Did you use it as a face mask?
That was telling.
Did you? Who told you this?
I mean, if you think about it, it does tighten on the skin.
Yes.
And at that time, my sister and I were using egg white. We used to make our own face masks. And I think, it's doing the same thing as an egg white would.
How does this conversation float in Ireland? Because I mean, whenever
we've got lots of Irish
huge
followers.
Irish following, and I sort of think societally, is it accepted to kind of just talk like this?
So, do you know what? Ireland has come on leaps and bounds, actually. I feel that we were very repressed and oppressed by the Catholic Church for many years. And all of a sudden, with the vote for equality in marriage, and then obviously the referendum for allowing abortion, I feel the shackles have come off, and we are just wild for information, and we are really open to it. Because it was interesting at the book launch, Nadia, I felt the one in London that you were at, I felt some of the ladies in the audience may have been slightly taken aback at our conversation, because it was so open and like this and really honest. And I feel they were like, oh, we didn't realize that this was going to go this way. Now it could be, whereas in Ireland, I find people like really love it. Now the UK ladies loved it obviously as well, but I think maybe it was just that they didn't know me and didn't know what to expect. Whereas the Irish ladies that come to see me and listen to me know what to expect. But yeah, I was actually surprised, because I thought, say, UK ladies are streets ahead of us, because in a way the UK always has been. But no, with the same issues, same problems. But yeah, Ireland, the Irish women are just, I honestly feel we've been so oppressed for years that now it's like, fuck it, let's just do
Well,
it.
you'll probably learn a lot quicker, because I'm telling you now, a number of the loose women that are asked about what was the vulva and what was the labia, and one of them actually said, well, I'm not stupid, I know, and then actually got it wrong.
Did they?
So you would think loose women, and you were great on loose women, by the way, you would think loose women are going to be the guaranteed group of women that are going to know this. And so Laura does these big live shows that I'm going to be at this weekend. I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And is it your sister you get to dress up as a vulva?
My long-suffering younger sister dresses up as a giant vulva. But it's a beautiful vulva. It's got sequins and silk and big, beautiful, puffy lips.
Has she ever been close?
She's beautiful, and her head is the clitoris. Oh, she's just gorgeous. And we do a little like, how do you masturbate session on stage by using the big giant vulva and showing people, because some women don't know how to masturbate. Yeah, and some, so we do, so that's kind of fun. But you know what? The show is actually a bit like the book. So it's about bringing in that element of humor and fun to make the topic not so dire, because it's not real fun talking about dry vaginas. But if you add a bit of humor in, people kind of get it and they understand it, and then they'll also remember a few things that you've said, and then hopefully feel empowered to go to the doctor if they have any issues. So that's really the reason behind it all. And there's a drag act. Oh my goodness, you're gonna love it. I can't wait for you to see it.
I can't wait. Wow. But what does your brother-in-law dress up as?
So he dresses up as a giant vaginal estrogen pessary. So he dresses up as a big blue applicator with a white cap on for the vaginal estrogen pessary. And him and the physiotherapist do like a simulation of the pessary going into the vagina.
Fantastic.
Are there any tickets left?
Oh, Mark, no, there's no, they sold out weeks ago. Mark, next time you're going to have to come.
I love cosplaying. Let me dress up. I want to dress up as a something.
See, he said it.
What?
Maybe we could do one day. I'm the vulva and you're the pessary. Bring it to London. Yeah. I'll be the vulva.
Do you know what? I think the UK ladies are ready for this. I think we should bring it to London.
Yeah. So guys, make sure you follow Laura on the Fabulous Pharmacist. We'll put her links under here.
I'm going to put a link to the book underneath as well.
So link to the book and link to
you
her.
Got your post-its. I love it. Are they the bits that you really need to look over again, Mark?
These are the bits that I want to really study.
God help me.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you follow her.
You realize that?
Make sure you follow her so that if you can, the next show you can get there before it's sold out. I can't wait to see you. Look, Laura and I are going to be doing lots of different stuff together.
Yeah, I'm waiting, Nadia.
I'm actually going to vlog this weekend for our regular.
I've just had an idea. I've also had an idea.
Oh God!
When you next do a show in London, I might come as a penis and stage dive. I'll run at the stage and you can all back me away.
I would love you to, because actually we haven't got a penis in the show, but we absolutely I have room for a penis in the show. Do you know what? I can find a part for you, Mark, and make a penis.
Got to make him a penis.
Make me more of a dick than I already am.
Yeah.
We can put sequins on it too and make it out of silk if you want. So it's like a really, really, high-end penis. Not your average penis.
No, he's got to be fancy.
Yeah.
Because he's so fancy. Yeah. That's a great idea.
What?
You could do a show, and like the Masked Singer,
yes,
you never know what person is the
which
dick.
Anatomy.
Dick of the year.
Okay.
Oh my God, we've got something we can work with.
Yeah, there's something.
I actually do think so.
You could be the first non-celebrity wanker to be a penis.
Okay.
But then after that, we could have celebrities.
Yes,
who's the celebrity penis?
Well, this was
the
oldest first meeting. It's so lovely to meet you, Laura.
Mark, it's been a pleasure. I feel that we know each other a little bit more intimately than probably I would normally know someone, but that's wonderful.
Yeah, but it's a great way to get to know someone. And we are going to be coming to Ireland soon because we want to have a good look round, because we're thinking of moving there if reform get in.
Yeah.
So we're going to need your advice on that.
Yeah, great.
Yep.
Oh,
all right, darling. Love you lots.
Thanks a million. See you. See you the weekend. Bye.